How's it, people? Back finally. As you can see, I'm a bit more professional, a bit more neat, because now I'm working and I have my goals that I need to chase. But finally, the reflection is back for ISC January 2026 intake 1. Hopefully, I don't have to write the second one, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth, or the sixth, because hopefully, I'm done with ISC. There's still a long journey ahead. And I've only been working like 3 or 4 weeks now. So it's been a while since I made a video, but here we are. So I wanted to say I wrote my ISC in the Gallagher Convention Center in Gauteng, which basically takes all the people from Pretoria and Johannesburg, puts them into one venue. And I think we were about 4,000 people writing in that venue, and 3 halls where everyone was split into. So with that massive venue comes a lot of pressure, massive pressure. Luckily, I saw a lot of like mates I used to study with at UP, or people that I met along the journey, or even now with Molpark, because we studied online, so you never get to meet the people. And then I saw them and I'm like, yo, aren't you that person? And they're like, Powell. And I'm like, yes. And then you make mates, only for a short while, because you still have to lock in for the tests. So it was fun meeting a lot of new people, seeing old friends before the tests and afterwards, like just talking about other things than the test, because I was never good talking about the test. And if there's one tip I can give anyone, if you still have to write any type of test in your future, is don't talk about the test afterwards. You wrote what you wrote, they're gonna mark how they're gonna mark it. You have no control over the outcome, so leave it as it is. Don't stress about it, don't worry. Don't be too happy or excited, because you never know, you might have to rewrite. So I'm trying to stay calm, but I'm also like trying to be confident in what I did and what my attempt was. So let's get into it. So general things, the things I needed. So one of the tips another YouTuber gave, not that I'm a YouTuber, I'm just making documentaries, was the exam regulations, like reading it the night before the test and making sure you are sorted for if anything happens on the day. Then this was almost the most important document. This is my assessment admission letter. This gave me my exam number, my venue, the times we wrote, the days we wrote, and my SACA ID. So if they needed anything, your admission letter is there, and you had to scan it with the registration and the submission for each paper to ensure that it is you that wrote and that your attempt was valid. So that's a lot of stress, but being prepared rather than feeling like you are uncertain or in the unknown, I made sure that at least I have that. I might not have the technical knowledge or the energy on the day, at least I have that sorted. So I just try to make myself stress about things where I can control it, and the things out of my control, I let it be. Especially the first day of registrations, I think I waited almost 30 minutes to an hour just outside, because they wanted to see how everyone was coming in the venue and registering for the tests. But that process streamlined, and on day 2 and 3 it went much faster. I walked probably a kilometer every morning just before the tests, from where I parked, and then having to go back over the line, because we are so many people writing at the same venue. But then a few general things about the test. So you'll see, I think this is paper 1, paper 2, and then paper 3. They're all quite pastel colors. And then I'll just show you one. So this was the required. So it's also a different color. And what was lacquer about it is it was almost different modules or subjects. So the requireds being different colors also helped me to focus, and the fact that there was 2 different papers for requireds made me like strict on my timing, because I knew for the last 3 or 4 questions I always made 1.7 minutes per mark instead of 2, so that I have more time to go attempt those. Because in my last few tests with Molpark, I failed most of my last few questions in the test, so I figured it out, luckily close to the exams, and then in the exam I gave it my all, and I wanted to do the same for ISC. But with the pastel colors, I just wanted to say, with Milpark, they also did it for, I think, paper 1 and paper 2, or test 1 and test 2. And then people started moaning because you couldn't highlight or see certain colors on the pastel. So they went back to the white paper. So now, for the ISC coming to pastel colors, I'm sure it was a shock to a lot of people. But luckily, Milpark did expose us to that. And I think it's mostly to do with the harshness, like reading for a long time, the white paper might strain or burn your eyes out. And it's also for colorblind people to help them read, I believe. So it's cool initiatives to make it more inclusive. But I also wanted to say how much other people's emotions play a part of how you feel about your attempt. Because after paper 1, I saw a friend from Turks that I used to study with and talk to in classes. And she was very nervous and fidgety and like I was confident in my attempt. I wasn't happy. It wasn't an easy paper, but I realized very fast that if I were to take other people's emotions and neglect what I felt or what I wrote, I would be much more stressed for paper 2 and paper 3, because after paper 1 you still have 240 marks left. That's out there. You have to go chase it. So shout out Alunga Madala. It starts with CASA is this podcast. He gave me that mindset after paper 1, like there's still work to do. And like Kobe said, we're not done yet. It's not over. I did feel burnt out after every single test. I thought I would be revising the night after my test, just making sure that the little gaps I still felt, I could go back and revise a little bit or see what notes I made. And I just rather went for a walk or a run or a gym session because I was just tired. I had a lot of stress and I wanted to work that out. I didn't want to go into the next paper feeling all of that emotion still. But on day 3 or paper 3, I think it was just exam fatigue because it did catch up to me. So luckily it's also only 3 days. I think in the past it was 2 days, but you wrote longer. And I think the APC is 8 hours, but I'll check in. Hopefully by that time I'm still making documentaries about my life. But there was also a lot more auditing than expected over the 3 papers. Like I expected a lot of Manac, and when I did my board course, they also said, we'll get a lot of Manac questions because it's more insight into business world, how business operates, the things you need to think of as a professional. How does this affect something else? What is the implied thing that will happen? But there was a lot more auditing. So luckily I failed my second year at TICS with auditing, and I had to repeat that year. So I made an effort last year with Milpark as well. I think it was test 3, so that's like the closest to a simulation you'll get to the exams, because it was 120 marks as well, I think. And I did very poorly. I think I got like a 38%, and I marked myself strict. I went and reflected for at least 2 to 3 days, and I figured out how to audit, or how to write auditing at least, because I'm still learning the real audit world. But that helped me, and I felt a lot more confident seeing the auditing questions. There were still weird ones, there will always be, but with Milpark, they kind of prepared us for that. Like, expect the unexpected. It's gonna come. But also just a few general things that helped me focus for these papers. I never got stuck on a question, because they do ask weird things. They do ask it in a way where you don't understand and you want to pop it into ChatGPT or Copilot and ask it, listen, tell me in English, what are they asking? Because that's how you study. I'm sure most students can honestly say that when they do practice, they might give it their best in their first attempt, but when marking, they'll maybe rephrase the required and then attempt it again, or mark according to that rephrased required, the R&Rs, and then you could understand a bit more. But in the paper, you don't have time. I wrote 1.6 marks per minute, or minutes per mark, and the last few questions per paper I did 1.7, just to allow myself more more time to go attempt those questions, because you always waste time at the start of a paper and then you don't have time for the last few questions. And there's a lot of marks usually there. So that was something I really wanted to make an effort with when I prepared for these exams. And I believe my exam technique did carry me. So hopefully I put enough on the papers to help me pass. I find out the 10th of April, my marks. Luckily for me, my honors graduation for Moorpark is the 22nd, and it's my honors. So hopefully April is a good month and I don't have to write it again, because I think if I have to rewrite it's June or July. So then from 10 April till that time I have to study. And I know for a fact it's going to get busy with the real auditing world in that time, because I know a lot of companies' financial year ends on June. So we're going to be bumping. Hopefully by that time those things are sorted and it's out of my hands. The last general thing that I wanted to say for a tip wise is just reading your answers. I read some of my answers and I'm like, I understand what I'm saying, but it might not be as relevant, or it's not answering the required. So with that last minute or 2 minutes per required that you say for yourself, I went back and gave myself an opportunity to add more context or make it more subject specific or topic specific. But I wanted to say company specific, because we are given one case study for all the subjects or all the required. So it's how do you use that to answer what they're asking? And I just wanted to give more context when I wrote. So that's what I did with my last few minutes or seconds I had, and I wrote as fast as possible. But the biggest thing that helped me through all three of these papers was energy in the mornings. Like I said, I saw some people I used to study with online or at Tux. So I made an effort to give them motivation, because motivating people motivates me. Making people laugh motivates me. I always still went back to my desk, ate a lot of chow before we started writing, and also recovered, because talking socially does take a lot of energy from anyone, but it's how do you use that in a positive way, rather than feeling burnt out just from chatting to someone. It's we had a lack of conversation, but let's lock in now. And with that, the 40 minutes in the mornings where I had to drive to the venue, I blasted the same playlist over and over. It's not a lot of like beats or anything, but it's feel good songs. It's songs maybe I grew up with or my parents listened to, and it's still a good song. Like an easy example is Money for Nothing, Dire Straits, or Orange County from Gorillaz. And it's music that put me in that mode where like, okay, we're gonna do something hard, let's do this, like you do for gym or exercise, or when you have to have that awkward conversation. So I prioritize my energy in the mornings. I drank hydrates, a lot of water until a certain point, so that I don't have to go too much in the test. But I would say this: use your bathroom breaks as a reset. Like, go quickly. When you're there, take a breath, think of what you have said, what you still have to do, and then just come with a refreshed mind and attack it. So I use those breaks. Same with because I took a lot of food. When I didn't understand what they were asking, or I couldn't think of how I was gonna answer it, I eat a simple small ball one, or up from my burger, took a sip of my water or my Energade, or even my energy drink, my BioPlus. Like, I had so many like items of food, and it just helped me to let go. Even if it's like 30 seconds, just let go, rephrase, rethink, whatever you want to call it, and then reapply yourself. Right, so this is going to go now into more specific things. So paper one, auditing and financial reporting heavy. That paper was hard. That paper probably killed a lot of people's motivation for the next few days. Not mine at least, but I was like, day 2 and day 3 must be better, please. So it's just the way it was asked, and then it was consolidation specific things, which always throws people under the bus. And I knew it was a red topic, like a SAR topic, like something I wasn't as confident in, but I knew how to get marks. Just show them that you kind of understand what you know, and that you know how to apply that. Because knowledge is something, application is everything. Yo, that should be a quote, man. Paper 2, Manac and tax. I was so happy to see some Manac because I started to like learning Manac and how it operates and how it's relevant to the real world in my honors year, because before then it was a nightmare. But then tax became my nightmare in honors year, and with the exam preparation, tax got me under. I think I always scored like 30 to 40%, and on the good days like a 50. But I learned from that. I learned where I was going wrong, what I was applying incorrectly, why I went wrong. That's the biggest thing. Just understand why. So with the tax things, it was a lot of calculations, at least some discussion. Not too difficult. The Manac as well. Some subject-specific things where we delved into a bit of more difficult things. But still, compared to paper 1, paper 2 was lacquer. It was easier. It was just, we can do this. But that gave us false confidence for paper 3, because most people pitched up and they're like, okay, paper 1 was hard, paper 2 was easier, paper 3 will be even easier. That's what I thought. And paper 3 was more like, just be realistic. Let's just humble ourselves quickly. And when I prepared for financial reporting, like the week or 2 prior, I did some customer loyalty point calculation questions, and then they asked the discussion question, which I haven't even attempted. Luckily, I did the calculation question, so I did know what the principles are and kind of what sections I think of IFRS 15 I have to think about. And shout out to Molpark again, because their teaching model and their structure of teaching, it takes you from the most basic point to the most difficult or complex thing per, say, IFRS or IAS. Same with the tax, same with auditing, even with Manac. They go into so much depth. That's why it takes so long to complete their lessons and whatever, and why the year is so difficult. But if you survive that, you are set for life. So paper 3, I expected it to be easy, and it was actually a lot harder. It was probably harder than paper 2, but still much more enjoyable than paper 1. So I'll take that. The only thing that got me was I was slow on paper 3, like slow on the day. Like I was just moving a bit different. I wasn't as enthusiastic. I was more happy to be done with the papers than actually having to write them. Luckily, I also had some things happening afterwards, so it gave me motivation to at least give it my all. Like, don't let yourself fail now. Like, you've worked so hard, just one more, my boy. Just go, write whatever you can. And I did apply the wrong things, especially in the last 2 questions, because I felt bad. But reflecting and removing myself, there was enough marks in paper 3 to still score more than 40%, because I think you need a sub minimum of 40% over the 3 papers, and then 50% overall. So hopefully paper 2 and paper 3 carries me, and then paper 1 I just did enough. It's out of my hands, so I can't talk about that too much, but this is also for me if I have to reflect. Like, don't expect it to be the same over the 3 days. There will always be something that's going to throw you off. There will always be something new. There will always be something that's going wrong in the real life, not in your life or in the exam time. Like, something will always go wrong. But how fast can you adapt? How fast can you change? How fast can you just pivot and be ready for the next thing? Like, you have to move on. And even with the work, it still applies. But being like on that paper 3, it's just with the slow and everything, a few things happened that week that made life a bit harder. Like the Sunday, because we wrote the Tuesday to the Thursday. The Sunday prior to that, I had to put out my one dog, and he was kind of my like buddy in my honors year because I studied online from home, and we went for a lot of walks in the park, and like it came for like 2 weeks. He was sore when it happened, so at least I could mentally work some of that out. But I was so emotionally prepared to write the ISC that I never made time for that. And I think by paper three's time, my body could feel that I wasn't working out something. That was one of the things, and then just other things happened on that morning, which made it more difficult to be as ready as possible. But I still pitched up. I still ate a lot of food. I still talked probably too much nonsense with my friends, but I enjoyed it. I made the most of it. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to have written the ISC. And hopefully if I do pass, I get reimbursed firstly, but also I'm able to move on. I can just focus on auditing and then pitch for the APC. And then like just one more year, get my CASA or just sign off my articles at least. And then figure out what I want to do with my life. And this is just the starting point, and that's how I saw it. Like, this is just a stepping stone for me to get where I want to, and it will still be even if I have to rewrite. Like, it's not something that's this big thing, it's there. It's like your matric exams. It's for you to just tell, well, that was for the government, how smart are you? Or how good did your school teach you? And this is just how good did your institution teach you? How good can you apply your knowledge? And I'm thankful for the opportunity mostly. I'm thankful to have written it. I'm thankful for the experience. I'm probably saying that incorrectly, but being here where I am now, I know what I went through, and I'm sure you know what you're going through or have went through. So it's about pitching up for all that effort. It's about backing yourself and trusting the process, and then believing that it will work out. Because what if it all works out? What if it all works out? So I'll leave you with that. Just believe in yourself in any sense. It doesn't have to be for ISC or CA stream or study specific. It can be for literally anything. Just believe in yourself. Even if it's small, even if it can break quickly, just build. But that's basically all. If there's anything you want more clarification on, pop a comment. I'll read it. I'm quite chronically online, at least a lot less than what I used to be, but hopefully that also gives you some perspective on how the ISC went, what it was about, and what I experienced from it. So Rion from Montgomery Park, over and out.